Good morning. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I did. I had lots of fun. 6 miles down in the Red Rock Canyon yesterday with my sister Tina. Oh my gosh, we had so much fun. It was so good. Of course, I love Red Rock Canyon and I love my sister, so it had to be a good day, right? And it was for sure. So anyway, I hope you had a good weekend too. I got a little bit of work. I didn't get very much work done this weekend, so I got to work really. Actually, I've been up since about 5, working really hard, and got 2 projects knocked out this morning. So anyway, with all this stuff going on through my head, I'm like, there's this and there's that, there's something else, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? And this one person kept texting me this morning trying to sell me something, and finally I said, I'm working right now, I'll look at it later. And then I turned my phone off, so if you're trying to call me right now, it is not going to work because it's off. So it's on airplane mode, actually, not off, but because it's still charging. But anyway, so I'm just like, oh my goodness, it's 8 o'clock and I'm already going, oh my gosh. And so I thought, what am I going to talk about? Right? And I just thought, you know what, I need just a simple, gentle reminder this morning to peace out. And that's why I put on my peace out shirt this morning and my hippie peace pants this morning. So I've got double peace on my pants and my shirt. And so my goal today is to just follow my own advice and just say, you know what? It's time to just peace out. It doesn't matter what a day brings. It doesn't matter what the rest of this day looks like. I got plenty of stuff on my plate, and I know you got lots of stuff on your plate. But it all comes back down to this one simple thing. Jesus said, I'm leaving my peace with you. He didn't say, I'm going to go to some other kingdom and get some peace and I'll be back in a minute. He didn't say, eventually I'll send some peace your way. He said, I'm leaving my peace with you. A peace the world doesn't understand. It's okay if people don't understand the peace that you have. It's okay if they don't get it. They don't need to get it, right? It's okay if you don't get it. He even tells us in Colossians, right? It says, or is it Philippians? It says you're going to have a peace that passes understanding. Sometimes you may not understand that peace that he gives us because it's way beyond what we can manufacture, right? Now, what we can manufacture is the faith to trust that the peace he gave us is going to carry us through the day. We can come up with that. We can decide. Maybe that's the best way to put it. We can choose to let his peace reign in our heart. That's what Paul says, right? He said, let the peace of God reign in your heart. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly. What's the word of Christ? Well, one of the words of Christ is, my peace I give to you, not as the world gives, give I unto you. So don't let your heart be troubled. Neither let it be afraid. Troubled and afraid are two different things. I can see those two right there, right? I can be troubled about some things. I can be worried about some things. I could be bothered by some things, and or I can be afraid of some things. They aren't necessarily the same thing. I may not be afraid of the things that are troubling me, but those two can also be kind of interlocked. But whether we're troubled or afraid or somewhere in between or a little bit of both, we can stop and let his peace reign in our heart. And I'm reminding myself this morning, first off, that he gave us his peace. He didn't go to Walmart and buy a package of peace, and you can't either, as a matter of fact, right? And he's not giving us some empty words that have no meaning and have no power behind them. He was addressing his disciples for one of the last times that he would address them here on this earth, and he was saying, you know what? And he was, in a sense, preparing them for his own crucifixion. And he was telling them, I'm going to leave my peace here. You don't have to be troubled. Don't have to be afraid. And they probably thought, what do we have to be troubled about? We've got the Messiah right here. What do we have to be afraid about? We've got the Jesus, the Christ, the Messiah, the promised one, the anointed one right here. What do we have to be afraid of? And sometimes as Christians we say, I have Christ, what do I have to be afraid of? But then we get bad news and go, oh my gosh, and we lose it, right? Because we get our eyes off of him and onto the storm, or off of him and onto, and it's okay because sometimes as a human we have to process that. There's emotions attached to things, and it's healthy to process grief. It's healthy to process sadness. It's healthy to process even fears, it worries. It's healthy to process those things. It's not healthy to dwell in them, to wallow around in them forever, to let them drag you down into the pit of despair, right? That's not healthy. So we have something come. He knew that his disciples were going to be troubled soon. He knew that his disciples were going to be afraid soon. And that's where we find them actually after the crucifixion, right? They're all locked in a room because they're like, if they killed, they thought Jesus was going to set up a natural physical kingdom. And so they were ready to fight. They thought they were going to fight physically, and they were going to help him ascend to the throne and take the kingdom because that's the culture of the day. And even the prophecies through the Old Testament, all they thought it was going to be a physical kingdom. They didn't realize it was a spiritual one. And so when he died, just it was the same thing as Abraham putting Isaac on the altar. This is the seed of the promise. This is the essence of the future. And Abraham's like, I'm laying it all on the altar, and I don't know how God's going to pull it all off. But this is the seed of the promise. And when Jesus went to the cross, it was the same thing. It was the seed of the promise. He's coming to set up a kingdom. Yes, he did, but it wasn't one they could see. And so when he died, they thought they had missed it. We followed this man for 3 years. We thought he was this and we thought he was that, and now he's dead. And so they said, "Oh, if they kill him, and we had all our hope in him, and now he's gone." He wasn't, but in their minds he was, right? He's been killed. They're going to kill us too. And so they hid, and they were in much fear and trepidation. They hid because they thought we must be next. They identified us as his followers, and now we're going to be next. So he knew they were going to feel the fear and the concern, they were going to be very troubled. And he was saying, "I'm leaving you my peace, so don't be troubled. Don't be afraid when all these things happen." He even told them, "I'm going to die," and they didn't quite understand. They're like, "Oh, sure, sure, we get it. Yeah, okay, we got it. Okay, when are we setting up the kingdom? Grab a sword, let's go fight." Right? And they didn't get the essence of the kingdom. And so since they misunderstood, they were really afraid. And I'm sure I would be too if I thought it was going to happen one way and it started happening another. Sometimes that's where our brains go, just kind of get out of the loop. And our brain goes this way and our heart goes that way, and then we're sitting here going, I don't even know anymore, right? But we can bring it all back together and go, he gave us his peace. We have that kingdom. Now we can understand that the kingdom wasn't a physical kingdom. It was a spiritual kingdom, and we live in that kingdom as believers in Christ. We've come through the cross, so we live in that kingdom. And so we don't have to be troubled by this kingdom out here, by the stuff we see in the world. Am I troubled? Yeah, I mean, oh, you want to put it one way? Many things I see today are troubling because they are scary. The line of thinking of today is totally anti-Christ, anti-Christian, anti-God. Oh, much of the thinking today is. And so I find those things disturbing. I find those things troubling, but I don't have to live in that because I can come back to this and go, but I know the truth, and I know the one who inspired all of these words. And I know the one who lives in my heart, and I know the one who walks with me through this crazy, crazy world right now. And so I don't have to be afraid. I don't have to be troubled. I just have to be faithful to him because he's going to be faithful to me in the middle of all of this, right? So this is your gentle reminder today on this Monday, because it's Monday, right? First day of August, 2022, 19. Woo, boy, I slept long last night, didn't I? Slept backwards. Anyway, this first day of August, 2022, God's peace is still here with us. We can still let it rain in our hearts. We don't have to be dragged down by all the things we see going on in the world. Are we concerned? Absolutely. It's much fuel for prayer. Many reasons to find ourselves in prayer more and to get closer to him, to help him protect our hearts from this craziness, and to get close enough to him that we just begin to just let his peace reign in our heart. And then we don't have to worry about all of it, right? We don't have to worry about it. we can just give it all back to Him and just go, you know what? I don't belong to this world's kingdom. I live in another kingdom. I'm not from here. As a matter of fact, Jesus himself in the next couple of chapters after John 14, when he prays in John 17, he says, let me find it. He says, now I am no longer in the world. And I am pretty sure the disciples were going, you see him standing there, right? I see him standing there. How can he say he's no longer in this world? Because he had already committed to the journey. He already in his heart had chosen God's way, the Father's way, had given the cup back. Or I guess he's fixing to go to the Gethsemane here in a little bit, and he's going to face the biggest decision of his life, but he'd already decided he was going to do it God's way. And that's where we are. We just got to decide we're going to do it God's way. And one of the first steps of that is just letting his peace reign in our heart and protecting that and making sure we just walk out his peace every single day, including today, Monday, August 1st, right? 2022. All right, you guys, peace out. I hope I just reminded you to let his peace reign one more time. So peace out. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.